Hello, it's Adam Turner again, here to show you a solution to a simple mathematical problem sourced from Code Wars. Not going to be difficult at all in terms of theory and mathematics. All we're doing is playing with the powers of 2. So that's elementary level math. But I'm going to show you a cheeky little shortcut to do something like a range in JavaScript without having to write a for loop or similar. Um, so yeah, I'm going to show you the long way to do it first, the like kind of more readable way, and then I'll show you very quickly the cheeky way to generate a range, much like you find in languages like Python. Uh, you've got a range uh, method that you can use to generate a range of numbers that are iterable. So let's go and do this. We've got this function here. It's called powers of 2. It takes a parameter n. We've got to complete the function that takes a non-negative integer as n and return a list of all the powers of 2 with the exponents ranging from 0 to n inclusive. So that's the kind of edge case. And you've got 3 examples here. N is 0, or that'll give you an array with just 1 in it, because 2 to the power of 0 is 1, like anything. And then you've got n is equal to 1. Well, that'll give you 1 and 2. So the first one's 1, as we know, 2 to the power of 0 is 1. And then 2 to the power of 1 is 2. And then the final one is 2 is the input, and that'll give you 1, 2, 4. I mean, that's all very self-explanatory. And the ultimate goal here is to return an array iterating over all nums up to n. Map each value as a power of 2. So simple stuff. I'll do that quite quickly with this long-handed way of doing it. I've got an array there initialized to that variable. I'm just going to loop from 0 initialized to n inclusive, and we'll go up in steps of 1, and then I'm going to go push there 2 to the power of I, oops, and then we're done with the loop. We'll just go return that array. So we've got the result up here in the top right. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction. I'm getting used to this recording business. So let's just say the first is 1, that's correct, so that's the result. Second is 1 and 2, that's correct, that's the result. And the third is 1, 2, 4, that's correct. So we got that by initializing an empty array to this variable ARR, looping over each value from 0 to n inclusive. So that's what we did. And on each iteration, we simply raised 2 to the power of I and then returned array. So that's the long way to do it. That is the solution, a simple readable way to do it. But I'm going to show you a cheeky little way to do it as well. So we'll go return, and we'll use this array constructor. An array constructor wants to know how many elements are we going to construct in the array. So what is the length of the array? It's basically asking. And I'm going to do n plus 1 because arrays are 0 indexed and I want to go to n inclusive. I have to add 1 to it. If I return that, and all these log the result as well, so we'll see the underlying mechanism. You've got these weird kind of secret iterable structures, data structures that are displaying now on the console, but they're not useful. So what I've got to do is wrap that in square brackets, and that'll then, if we look, run that. So now we've got this kind of like iterable nested in an array, and all I can do is just spread the values of that array. We use keys, and then I return that or run that, and then you can see we're getting 0, 0, 1, and 0, 1, 2. So it's almost like we're looping through values from 0 to n, and we're just pushing them to a new array, and we're returning that. So that first bit here uses a constructor to create an object, an iterable object, with keys, or whatever key value pairs from with the length of n plus 1. So it's an array, sorry, and that's the iterable. And then we're using keys to access the keys of that object, and then we simply unpack that with the spread operator, and we're left with an array with these values. So I hope that kind of makes sense. That's the way to get a range, basically. And this specifies the length of the range. Each of the values is from 0 up to the length of the array that we're specifying in here. So that is what you get. You've got to use keys because it's an object that this returns to get out those values, and then we unpack it into an array using the spread operator. So that's not enough to solve the challenge. I'm just going to go throw in map, another array method, and we'll use num as the argument there, and then we'll throw into the callback 2 to the power of num, and very much like that for loop we had earlier, we get the same result. So I'll just clear that down, run it again, and up there is 1, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 4. So that's all correct. So that is the cheeky way to do it. Looks a bit tricky, but I hope that made sense, and I hope you enjoyed that. I hope maybe you picked up something from that. I'm not trying to teach, as I said, really. I'm not like a PhD computer science level guy, but it's just interesting to do these kind of videos, and it helps me to kind of verbalize and think about issues myself, as well as help others if they watch this kind of thing. So yeah, thank you very much for watching.